Hey guys, hope you guys have been having an awesome week. And I don't know why Jojo's laughing because this is a solid intro. But anyways, thank you guys for tuning in today for our latest video. And we have noticed that today is Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to all your mothers and all the fantastic mothers who may or may not be watching this video as well.
And hold up, especially our mother. We love to give special. We have a lot of mothers. Actually.
We have a lot of mother figures in our life. Besides our
we got our mother.
We got our mother. We have our grandma, who is an exceptional woman and a humongous influence in our lives.
She's like a tiger. She's like a lion.
Yes, but strong. We also have her, and we have our stepmom, and we love them all so much, and they have played important roles in our lives. And we are assuming whether you have a mother or whether you're in a situation where that is not the case, we know that you guys have figures out there who do represent someone like a mother, and we kind of want to discuss that and go over that today. The importance of having those type of figures in our lives, especially our moms. And this is kind of like our honoring for all our moms today. Definitely. And we hope you guys truly enjoy this topic that we're going to be talking about, especially when it comes to parental figures and how it translates in our relationships, even with God and even with other people, and how we handle different things.
Yeah, and I don't think people think that's such a huge thing, that it's two separate things when they are actually in the same genre, or when it comes to honoring. That it's such a huge thing, that it goes hand in hand. If you don't honor your father and mother, how do you expect to honor your God?
And it's hard to kind of think of it that way, especially with a spiritual father that's not physically present, but is there for us and does so much for us, yet it's really hard to recognize that. Sometimes I feel, especially with people in our generation, we like to have things more tangible, have things that are right in front of us, things that we can touch, and that's where we feel we can connect more. That's why, especially when it comes to our mothers and even our fathers, it's really easy to have that influence, especially when they're right in front of your face and they're telling you something and it's direct, and you know it's direct, and they're talking to you, and I'm getting really intense, but it's really important, and they kind of go over that in the Bible too, how important it is, especially with those interactions with your parents and how they interact with you. And you guys have probably heard of this this chapter all the time, especially when we're talking about parents. But Ephesians 6, and starting in verse 1, they talk about how children have to obey their parents. So it starts with, children, obey your parents in the Lord, because this is right. Honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment with a promise, so that it may go well with you and that you may have a long life in the land. So straight up, it tells us that it is extremely important to honor our father and our mother. Despite what anything may be going through in your life, that it is very, very important to have that honor and respect for them.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a huge thing about honoring your father and mother, especially right now since it's Mother's Day. And that maybe some people are out there are kind of struggling with it because maybe their mother recently passed, or maybe their mother is sick with COVID, or just any sickness, or
anything they're dealing with.
Yeah, just anything. Or maybe they're having a tough time with their mom and their relationship with their mom, and they're struggling and saying, how do I mend my relationship with my mother, or how do I just can't seem to get over it. Me and my mother don't see eye to eye. How am I supposed to honor them when that just
isn't reciprocated in a sense? Yeah, I totally get that, and I've had people come to me even about that with their own parents, and to be honest, it really truly is a difficult thing because I'm not personally in the family. You're not personally there to understand both sides, and honestly it comes from a matter of perspective. Coming from a daughter's perspective, a son's perspective, you're only seeing, oh, they're just telling me to do this, they have rules, they have all this set for me, but we don't understand why they set those rules. And it's kind of the same thing even when we're going about with God. God presents all these rules that he has for us, things that he doesn't want us to do, and we're kind of just like, oh, why doesn't he want to do it? He just tells me all this, and then oh, okay, that sounds ridiculous. But no, there's a reason why. There's so much intentionality with every rule that is placed in our relationships with not only our mother and father, but even with God. And that's like very purposeful in what they do for that. And so, yeah, that's pretty much what we want to segue into, is that in how we honor our parents and go about dealing with our parents, it kind of reflects in how we are dealing with our relationship with our spiritual father.
Definitely.
And how we go about our lives and dealings with what we're doing. And do our actions reflect what they're telling us to do? And I know sometimes it's really hard to do what they're telling us to do. Trust me, I'm at fault for this. I don't do everything that my parents tell me to do. And we all have our own free will to do that. But sometimes they even talk about this in the Bible, dying to ourselves. And we have to understand that not everything we want to do is what's best for us. And sometimes we need a different perspective. Sometimes we do need that parental perspective, where they do have experience being in our shoes sometimes. Maybe not directly, but they've been in a certain point of our lives that we are currently at. And they understand and they see what we should and what we shouldn't do. Maybe your parents don't want you dating that boy for a specific reason, or want you dating at this age for a specific reason. For us, for our grandparents in our lives, they want us, before we bring home any guy, to bring home first a degree. And that's a solid rule. Yeah. And that's an amazing rule, because they want to emphasize how important education is. And we understood that perspective straight on. And do we listen to all of that all the time?
Yes, of course we do. Yes. Yes. For our grandparents watching, yes, we do. We do. Most definitely.
But to be honest, no, because you know what? We're not perfect. And we don't always seem to notice that perspective. But over time, we have noticed that perspective and understand the benefits of why.
And if not, that's what our parents are for, to set us back into reality, saying you're living in a fantasy world. Get your head out of that fantasy, because you need to get that education before you get that boy.
But first, in order to understand that perspective, do we understand and honor our fathers to even go to that length, to go into their shoes and see why they're telling us what they're telling us? And so that's why we ask that question, do we truly honor our parents? And we go through this chapter and we really dive into and really nitpick it at it, because it seems so simple, but to be honest, it really needs a deep self-reflection. Do we truly honor, respect, and are grateful for what our family does for us, especially being in a Hispanic community? A Hispanic community is very driven by our family and family values, and understanding the importance of honor and respect for our elders and people that are above us. And it's not because they are above us, but because they have that experience and knowledge and wisdom to guide us, because we are not currently in that place to be making those decisions, because we come from a different perspective.
No, definitely. And it's also many people that may not be in the, because I thank God every day that we have amazing parents, that we don't have to deal with what maybe some issues for other people, for others that may struggle, or maybe they don't have parents that, show them that, and they kind of don't have that kind of relationship that they're able to say, how do I show them honor when maybe they're doing something how am I supposed to honor that?
Yeah.
But that's when God comes in and he shows us even the mercy too. That's what even God does. The people, he showed them the love even when they hit them back even harder. And he hit them with love even harder. Do you kind of get what I'm saying? So that's when people start saying, when do I balance out? How do I show people that honor? But honor also comes hand in hand. That when we're showing our parents the honor, they also have to give it to us back. But we also, that's a loving type of relationship too. That's the kind of relationship we have with God. We give him our love and he gives it to us back unconditionally. And that's also what the parent too, to give us their love unconditionally.
Yeah.
And so, but with us even too, it's our job to give our love unconditionally to our parents that are trying to provide us the best, even throughout these circumstances. I see it with our grandparents every day. We live with their grandparents, and they try to give us the best. They try to supply for us. They try to give us what we need, or what we want, even. Yeah. And, that's amazing, and that's amazing for us to have.
But we also understand that not many people are as fortunate as us to have those type of parental figures in their lives, where sometimes different things may have gone on in your parents' lives where it has affected them in their parenting you. And coming from like my own education, I do understand that, being like a child health and development major, I understand that your parents directly influence you in every single aspect from day one.
Yeah.
From the day you were born, you mimic almost everything that you do. You are almost a complete reflection of your parents, based on just how you learn, because they were the only people that were around you, or whoever, whatever parental figure was around you. You learn from that and you mimic that. And that's how it is even when we come in a relationship with God.
Yeah, so my take on this is something that we all should kind of take into, because we're all struggling with this, because it's like me and my parents, we battle head to head, because I'm just like them, that I will fight relentlessly. And I just, even for me too, remembering to honor them, even if I don't agree with what they're saying, I need to remember to honor them, even though it goes, maybe I don't agree with it eye to eye, or just not what I believe, or anything like that. And this is a perfect example, even this Bible verse that you put out, or even what I was saying earlier too, unconditional love is, you got to give it unconditionally no matter what it is, or no matter how they treat you, because that's what God asked for. It doesn't matter what your neighbor did to you. He still asks for you to love them unconditionally, like you love yourself. And maybe even for some people it's hard because they don't have that love to give to themselves, and they don't know where to give it to. They never maybe even receive that kind of love. And so for them it's a little harder to, maybe especially during Mother's Day, to give out that love, or maybe even to receive it, because they're so closed off. And that's what being in a relationship with God is all about, is being able to receive the love and take it fully, and say, He died on the cross for me to receive His love, and to receive for Him to die for my sins that He knew I was going to do later on, because He knew I wasn't perfect. He knows I'm not perfect. And that goes with loving, because we love because He did that for us. We love because that was the ultimate sacrifice for love. And nobody could ever go surpass that. And that's what we need to remember on this kind of day, that to love and honor our Father, because they simply just gave us life, and that's simple enough to honor them for. Because we wouldn't be here if it weren't for them. Because they maybe, I don't know what happened, or maybe your parents maybe even told you you were a mistake, or that they didn't want you, because I know some parents, or something comes out like that. But you need to give thanks at the end of the day that you are still here, that that decision wasn't made because God saw something and He didn't let it happen. And so that's what we need to give thanks to at the end of the day, saying thank you. Or even maybe if you can't give that thanks just yet, maybe you can't give it yet, maybe you weren't willing to let it go, I encourage you to look into this passage in Ephesians 5 and read it over, and even to reflect on that question on, do I honor my mother and father, or just my mother simply, if you're thinking about that.
Since this is more in honor or in dedication for our mothers today, and we also want to discuss also a little bit how Mother's Day, yes, is the day of recognition for our moms, but we don't want it to be the only day of recognition for our moms, because I believe a lot of moms out there do a lot for you guys in your own lives, or maybe if you have parental figures that do act like moms, they probably do a lot in your life, and there's always going to be a figure that's like that, and if not, then
they endured that however long labor hours they did for you, those pain. I hope you gave her chocolate and flowers or something, or Cartier bracelet, something.
Okay, maybe not a Cartier bracelet, but you get the
breakfast
gist.
in bed. If you can't make, maybe get her some thought that counts, even if it's burnt.
Or maybe you're watching this video with her and you just want to go and tell her I love you and give her a big hug. And whoever's just there in your life.
Your mama deserves it. You know, maybe you got in a fight the day before, but give her a hug and say, I love you, mama. I'm sorry, even if it wasn't your fault. Just say you're sorry.
But yeah, we just want you to remember that your mothers are incredibly important, and that today is an incredible day to honor them, especially under those circumstances. And kind of changing our perspective a little bit and to something a little bit more positive. But we also want to go about and how that translates in our relationships with God and how we can go about that, and challenge you guys to just think about this little lesson for a bit. And we're so thankful you guys decided to watch our video today. And if you made it to the end of the video, congrats, you made it to the end of the video. We hope you guys like, comment, and subscribe if you guys want to.
Or follow us on Instagram too.
Follow us on Instagram. Follow our youth ministries page. And if you want to give your tithes and offerings, we also have a link there included. And we have everything there if you guys need it. And if you guys need anything from us, you guys could definitely DM us, and anything you guys may have or need, a prayer request, we are definitely always open for that, or just an open ear to vent. And we are excited you guys decided to watch, and we hope you guys tune in next week for another video with us. Thanks, guys.